What's going on, guys? It's Noble here, and today I'm bringing you another episode of my Racenet challenge series. I want to firstly apologise for the lack of last week's episode, which was, I think, a Force India around Valencia, but the reason that I wasn't able to bring that video to you was just I didn't have enough time to give the event a go and to get any footage from it, so yeah, I do apologise for that, but I'm back again this week for the challenge, which is to drive a Williams around the Hockenheim circuit in Germany as quickly as possible whilst dealing with some pretty treacherous conditions which require us to use the green striped intermediate tyre. So we're just going to go through the setup now after this little cutscene. As you can imagine, it's similar stuff to the usual setup that I would use around any other track from previous episodes, as the base setup seems to work pretty well in both the wet and the dry around most of the tracks. The main problem I imagine people will have when using this setup will be locking the tyres due to the high brake pressure, so if you find yourself struggling under braking, then you can either move the brake balance around in the setup menu to help to stop locking either the fronts or the rears. So if you find yourself locking the fronts, then you obviously want to move the balance towards the rear, and if you find yourself locking the rears, then you want to do the opposite of that and move the brake balance towards the front. Or alternatively, you can simply reduce the brake pressure to medium or maybe even low if you find that easier. What that will do is increase the braking distance, but it will mean it's much easier to avoid locking up when braking heavily into a corner or trying to trail brake. So with the setup all done, we're now on the track just trying to get a feel for these difficult conditions on the out lap before coming on to the official timed lap. Trying to get the best run out of this final corner, so take a nice wide entry and then power through the apex and then out of the final corner to start the lap. Turn 1, very difficult in these conditions, turning in just before the 50-metre board while putting a little bit of brake pressure on, combining that with a couple of downshifts to help slow the car down as we come towards turn 2. Braking at the 100-metre board down into second gear and trying to keep the car nicely towards the right hand side on the exit to help us get the best line through this little left hand kink, which you can see we struggle to get the power down whilst using curves as the back end tries to come out a little bit, which costs us a little bit of time but not too much, so nothing really to worry about as we try and spot our braking point into this hairpin, which is just before the 100-metre board as we go down into first gear. Trying to get a nice exit as we get the power back on and then shift up through the gears, coming through this little right hand kink which isn't really a corner, so easily flat, and then spotting the braking point just after the board on the right hand side there, down to second, trying to clip the apex on the left, let the car run out wide to the right and then bring it back towards the left. A little bit of a confidence lift through that right hander, but getting on the power pretty early again as we keep the car towards the left hand side, down into fifth as we pass that blue board on the left and sweeping through the right hander. Spotting a little black box on the right hand side of the grandstand there as our braking marker and turn in point for that hairpin. Down into second for that through these left right kink, which is easily flat, and then down into third for the first part of that double right. Run the car nicely out wide and then through the final corner, getting on the power nice and early as we cross the line to do a 1:21.571. So a pretty solid lap, just going through the assist menu as usual to show no assists were being used to aid the lap time. So yeah, that just about wraps things up for this week's event. As you can see, the sector times now on the screen there, and the replay of the lap from the external cameras will be coming up soon. But I hope you found this video helpful, so please do leave it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon. It's bye for now.